Good morning. Welcome to another cloudy, wet, drizzly day here in Winnipeg. Okay. As I've said before, let's not talk about the weather. What I do want to talk about is I did come back to the model table last night for quite a while. I'm guessing, as you can see, the rest of the antennas are done, the radar antennas. And I assembled the rest of the turrets and the floodlights, spotlights. What I did not do was put the ladders on. I'm gonna put the ladders on, and I'll video putting one of them on, because what I'm planning to do is I'm going to use the clear coat again as glue. That seems to work really, really well. It just sort of shrinks down and leaves the ladder, you might say, as though there's nothing holding it to the side of the turret. What I'm really glad is that I don't have to do a detailing kit that has the individual rungs fastened to the side of the turret. Oh my goodness, I don't think I could do that. I probably could do it, but I don't think I'd want to take the time. So I'm glad that I've got ladders here that are all one piece, and they're just sort of stick them on. And at arm's length, they look pretty good. I should maybe mention here, I realize that the little antenna that goes on that's on the side of these things, I realize it is probably in the wrong place. But if I was to put it in the other place, I think it would be just too far back. I think I like the looks of it. It looks more believable where it is. Now, there is another thing that I should mention right now, and that is that I knew right from the get-go that the idea was that on these screens, you might say, that we bent, and in fact were fastening to the frame that was on the outside of it, I realized that the idea was that the screen was supposed to follow the contour of the frame. However, unless you've actually done these exact same ones, you don't realize that they don't fit. The screen should have been just a little bit longer so that the arc could follow it. There's not enough material there for it to completely follow it. So like I say, those screens, they should have, you remember they were sort of like a 16 by 9 shape or something like that. Well, they should have been something like 25 by 9, and they should have been longer, more material so that they can go back further and follow the entire size of that frame. I beat that to death. I did the best I could with what I had to work with. I might have been able to get them a little better, but anyway, let's recompose here and set up and do a ladder with the clear coat. And what I'll do is I'll put the macro lens on, and we'll do a time lapse and watch it shrink. I'll probably use my heat gun to sort of speed things up a little bit. I realize that's not the best way to do it, because the shrinking will actually work better if you don't rush it. Give it a chance to not build a crust up on the outside on the surface of the clear coat. Anyway, it should be okay. We should be able to see it shrinking. All right. What else did I forget to mention here? Doesn't matter. Let's get going. No rollback. Even though I was at the model table, I never pushed record once. Okay, before we slip on our macro lens here, if you remember in yesterday's episode, just let me move in just a little bit. I was talking about putting these antennas on rotating blocks. But if you notice that the area that it would be stuck down to the tape, like at the bottom of those those legs is so incredibly small that I'm afraid that they would let go from the spray blowing against the major upper part of it, and I can envision having to fish these things out of the back of the spray booth. So I'm using self-locking tweezers here, and I know that where the tweezer is, it's not going to be painted, obviously, but I think I can probably touch up that one part of the frame afterwards with a little brush, and it's probably going to be okay. Anyway, just wanted to update you on that. Okay, now, according to the manual, which we know is not 100% right sometimes, mind you, I think I'm probably wrong a lot more than it is. So anyway, we're going to be putting a ladder on the side of each one of those right there. Now, because we're going to be using the clear coat as a glue, I'll have lots of time to manipulate it around and get it straight after I drop I imagine probably 1 or 2 drops of clear coat is all we're going to need here. And then we'll put the macro lens on and just move right in. And yeah, it doesn't go up against this part. I think it goes away from it. And I would think it should be, the top of the ladder should probably be even with the top of the turret here. Okay, let's get our macro lens on and recompose here. Okay, I'm going to be using the clear instead of the flat clear because I think that the clear will act more like a glue than the flat clear. And let's get this out of the way here. Now, I am noticing, and I think I should mention that before somebody else does, there's a little bit of flashing here, like the sprue connection was right here on this particular part. And I don't know why they chose to fasten it right there, but they did. Oh, I got it. Okay. Now this other piece here that has the whatever it is, that's actually a control. Yeah, we're going to call it a control. Now, I know some of you think I'm out of control, right? I'm taking the lid off of the clear here. Now I accidentally put my brush in way deeper than I had intended. Well, we can slide this around afterwards. And we want to completely bury the ladder in this stuff. I'm looking straight down on it, and I can see that it is pretty straight. I don't want the top of the stringers on the ladder here to be up over the top of the turret, even though on the real ship it might have been, because I'm afraid that I might accidentally catch it. Maybe just move it out just a little bit here. It's not. There, now it's. I think that's pretty good. Okay, let's just quit while we can here. Maybe I'll just drop just a little bit more down along the edge there. Okay. Now, did I move it now? Yeah, I thought I sort of did, didn't I? Oh, now I moved it the other way. Starting to float. Okay, let me look straight down. There. That's pretty. Okay, there. Now don't touch it. Okay, I've got the heat gun set at 160 Fahrenheit. Okay. I'm guessing 3 or 4 minutes has passed here. And I am quite sure that if I tried, I could probably pick the ladder off of there. But at least now, if I had have used CA glue like I've done with other ladders in the past, the pooling of the CA would still be there. Whereas right now the ladder looks like it's, just sort of fastened to the deck the way it's supposed to be. Now, I have this compulsion that I want to poke at it, but I don't think I better. I think that once we paint it, the paint is also going to add a little bit of adhesion effect, if you know what I mean. Okay, especially the way I paint. I pool it on, don't I? Okay, well, I'm not going to this time, right? Okay, let's go ahead now and get the other 7 ladders on off camera. Okay, all the ladders are on. And that means that basically all the parts for step 29 are done, but we still have to mount these on the top of the turrets, but we can't do that until after it's painted, after the turrets and everything are painted. Okay, so if we move on now to step 30, which we actually can do, it wants us to drop down a whole bunch of stuff that we've already made. We've already made these guns, and they're painted. They're ready to drop down. This part right here, the L45, L46, we could put that together and then spray it at the same time as we do these turrets, which now these ones here I'm not going to drop down, remember? We're going to save them until the end of the build because they are so incredibly fragile. Let's just flip the page here and see what do we have to do on 31. Step 31. 31, it looks like it is all photo etch. There is nothing that has to be. Well, I guess those ladders do have to be painted. That's true. I just can't stick them on the sides of the superstructure. So, but they would be painted the darker color, so that they will stand out against the side of the superstructure. So if now somebody, I think it was Jeff, suggested that we paint these black. Well, I'm kind of entertaining that idea. Somebody else seconded his motion, you might say, and thought that would be a good idea. And these really would stand out if they were black, or maybe just a little bit off black, something darker than the 77. If you remember, I was talking about painting them to 66, but I think maybe 77 or the what is it? The NATO black? I think, yeah, it's just a little bit off black. Okay, let's get the parts here, L45, L46, and put this thing together, and just see how it goes here today. I guess we're you might say we are officially now in step 30, which it looks like it's going to go very fast. This piece we already put on, remember? Might not have been a good idea, but I haven't broken the part off yet. So yeah, but as I've said probably 5 times, I'm definitely going to be leaving these until the end of the build. I mean placing them, let's put it that way. But we do have to paint them and get our antennas stuck down somehow. I think we'll figure it out. Now, a few moments ago, actually probably about an hour ago or more, I was sitting at my computer and I was editing out stuff that I had taken earlier this morning. And I get a notification saying, "You've got mail." And I checked the comment, and it was from California Paul. And California Paul is doing this same kit, and he's at about the same place we're at. And he mentioned how remember I was talking about the photo etch parts weren't made right for that antenna thing, that they just didn't fit. Well, he almost echoed word for word what I had said earlier this morning. Boy, did that ever make me feel good. Thanks for the comment, Paul. Okay, now we've got our L45 and our L46, and it should be fairly easy to put together. We've got positioning pins, and I don't think I can screw it up too badly. Okay, I've got most of the sprue nipped off here, and I was going to start sanding along the edges like where the sprue connections were, and then I thought maybe the best time to do the sanding is after this is glued together. That way I can sand both parts equally together. That fits pretty good. This is actually the first time I'm assembling it, so now the plan here is to just use the quick. Yeah, I don't think it can get out of line there. It's just Tony's tweezers are acting sort of like self-locking tweezers at the moment. I'll bet you didn't know they do that, did you, Tony? Okay, let's just let it wick its way in there. Now, I suppose if I turn it over, it's going to stick to the green cloth, isn't it? Well, maybe I'll just sort of hold it here. You know how I like to try to do everything on camera. Now, I'll admit I could have done it a lot better if I had have done it off camera. Okay, now we'll let that dry, and then we'll sand all the rough edges. Okay, had to wet my whistle again. Now, I don't think we're going to be seeing those seam lines after it's painted. Mind you, the ones on the top and the bottom we're not going to see anyway. The reason being is there's going to be a turret mounted on there. Like that. Yeah. Now, I know that a person might have the feeling like, why don't I just quickly paint this the 19 with a brush, and then we can stick it down here. But you know, like it goes on a little peg right there. But what's the rush? You know, we're gonna have to paint the turrets the 19 anyway. Now these can actually go down. I believe there's supposed to be 11 of them. And I've got 14, so that means there must be another 3 go on somewhere else. Either that or I made too many. It could be that on the Missouri there's extras or more than on the Iowa, and I just made everything that there was. I don't know. Doesn't matter. The main thing is that it's okay to have more than enough, but less than enough is not good. Okay. Yeah, we can go ahead and put some of these down now. What time we got here? 18 minutes after 1. We got a little bit of time here. But you know, there's I have a puzzling situation going on in the back room where the new model table is. And I'm going to take the camera back there and I'm going to show you what it is. I just discovered it this morning. And I know that some of you folks are really well versed, you might say, in electronics. I can tell by the different comments I'm getting every time I screw in a light bulb. So why don't we take the camera into the back room and I'll show you my dilemma. Okay, here we are at the new model table, sort of. And this is what happened. A little while ago this morning, I checked to see, well, first of all, you'll notice I've got the dust collector and the lathe are plugged into the same outlet. And I was concerned that if I had both of these going, and if the freezer kicks in all at the same time, I'm probably going to blow the fuse. And there's a chance that the lights in the room here are also on this circuit. I don't know. I haven't actually checked it to see, but I think that everything in this room is most likely on the same circuit. So what I did this morning was I thought, well, I've got my watt meter in the back here. Let's, for the fun of it, let's just check it out. You know, I know what it says on the side of the motor. You know how many amps it's supposed to be and so on. But something really strange happened. Well, first of all, we'll do the air cleaner. Okay, we'll plug it in. Okay, we're all turned on here, and when I turn the air cleaner on, as well as being noisy, it should read out there. I think you should be able to read that. I've got a good memory, but it's really short. What was that, 476 watts, I think? That's about right for a motor that size. That sounds like it needs grease. I don't think so. I think that was probably the starting wind. Anyway, now, here's the funny thing. Let's try the lathe. So I concluded that the air cleaner is correct. Okay, but watch this. Now, is that possible? 34 point something watts, and when I turn it up, it doesn't increase a whole lot. Okay, so here's my thinking on this. Downstairs in my workshop, my lathe that crapped out, that this one is replacing, it had a motor on it that was, I believe it was over twice as big. I think it's 2.5 or 3 horsepower or something. But it's also a DC motor. And I know that when I would use it for sometimes as much as, well, maybe an hour non-stop, depending on what I was doing. Almost an hour anyway. And I would put my hand on the motor. The motor on the downstairs lathe was right here, and I'd put my hand on it, and it would be just it wouldn't be hot. It would be slightly warm. Sometimes it would be still at room temperature, it seemed. Is it possible that these DC motors do not get hot? They don't take a whole lot of energy, unless maybe there's a load on. You know, most of the time when I was turning stuff downstairs, and it was really light stuff, it didn't require any energy at all to spin the spindle. Now, those of you who are in the know, if you know for sure, let me know about that. If you're just if you're like me and you're just going to speculate, well, don't comment. Yeah, that's this is the electronic speed controllers over here. It's obviously some sort of heavy-duty transistorized thing, and then this is the DC motor. In all likelihood, this motor would stay cool too. Well, reasonably cool, unless maybe it's under a heavy load and is producing its 1 horsepower or whatever it's supposed to be able to produce. Then in all likelihood, and I did try it. I put my hand on the turn wheel here and tried to slow it down. Of course, I could tell that the friction was going to heat up, and I didn't want to get rug burn on my hand, if you know what I mean. So it seems to me that I did notice it go up very, very slightly, but then I wasn't increasing the amount of power necessary to keep the thing turning. Let's go back to the model table. I think I've beat this to death. Okay, I was just thinking about what I said in the back room there about don't comment. I guess that wasn't very nice. Yeah, I guess you have the right to voice your opinion, right? Okay, well, you know what day it is tomorrow, right? I guess we'll get our pizza cup down, move all the coffee cups 1 cup to the right. The New York mug will be in the back there by Panic Pete. Okay, I'm going to call her quits for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.